a diagnostic assessment actually is fairly deficit focused, even though as psychologists we spend a lot of effort trying to up the strengths, but you can't, because that's not the job and that's not what the client needs to get the adjustments when they need to have it. That's kind of assessments. A strengths-based assessment, though, is much shorter, much lighter touch. It does have testing, we'll touch on all of that. So it is a much more gentle, I would say, assessment. But what's really important about a strengths-based assessment is understanding the client's goals. And we'll talk a bit about that as well. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Now, you know, we do ask that in a diagnostic assessment, but we don't focus on it in quite the depth that we would do in a strengths-based assessment. Career development. Maybe somebody looking for a first job, or we'll come on and talk about some examples that highlight this. They might be changing job, or they might want to prepare for a new job, or they're in a job and they think, oh, I haven't quite got a grasp of this. And also, sometimes people have quite limited career horizons when they've had difficult experiences with neurodiversity, and probably all of us can put our hands up to that, and that certainly includes me. And another useful one is sometimes people have had an assessment and they'll all be fine, but actually that deficit focus has left them very overwhelmed without a way of thinking, how do I use what I've found out that's good about me? Because as we know, human beings are programmed to notice what's negative before we notice what's positive. Oh, aren't we silly? But it is really helpful in some of those circumstances. And, you know, one of the nice things about a strengths-based assessment, you probably never had a light shone on your strengths in the way that you will do in that. And so it should be very reaffirming and validating. Right. So just like a diagnostic assessment, history taken is absolutely key. So I'm going to say it again. Take a really good history. It doesn't mean you have to sit there for hours. You know, it just means you have a good grasp of their current context and what the journey has been so far.